Right, all set, Mom.
Tell us about your writing process.
I think it's a bit of a strange process, but I really feel as though I can hear voices in my head, and a lot of them. So sometimes they're a bit jumbled, like a radio station that isn't properly tuned, but...
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Can you start with my writing process?
Yes.
Just start with that phrase,
Yes.
and then say whatever. Sorry to interrupt.
Tell us about your writing process.
My writing process is a little strange. It is a bit, I suppose you'd call it organic. I have voices in my head, I feel like, and sometimes it's a bit like a radio that isn't properly tuned. I have lots of different jumbles of voices, and then usually something takes over, one of them takes over, and then I feel as though there is a character that is possessing me and haunting me in a good way, and I want to be possessed by that character. I want to know that person, and at some point it stops just being a voice that I'm listening to, that I'm writing down. It starts to be their dreams. I feel like I'm dreaming their dreams, and then there's this whole movie that I'm watching, and I'm the scribe writing that down, and that is the writing process for me. There's also, of course, the editing process that comes in, which is part of the writing process, but when I get into the editing space, to me, part of it is words and white space. And I think especially when you start to try to cut down prose, or go in the direction of poetry, and I'm sure to poets as well, white space is as important as words. What you don't say is as important as what you do say, and that play of sort of light and shadow or sound and silence is very, very important to me, because I think sometimes it's in those silences, in those spaces, that really spiritual growth occurs. In a poem, when I read it, I always think space in a poem to me is that place where spiritual growth in a poem occurs, where there's something that is the other.